Okay, people are still kind of trickling in, but we are going to go ahead and get started just in the interest of time and to be respectful for everyone who showed up right on time. Welcome to the Water Energy Education Leadership Roundtable. And if you're counting, it's number 16. What do you think about that, Bill?
It's amazing.
Number 16. We have number 17 lined up already in April, and hopefully hearing from somebody about 18 in June. So we're moving right along. While we're here, if you haven't done so already, please introduce yourself in the chat. This is an open community. It's always lovely to get a chance to know people, know where you're coming from. It also helps us understand what your perspective is as you join the conversation. I want to give a shout out to our 2023-24 WEEA sponsors, as I always do at the front and at the end of every meeting and at every presentation. It's the support of these people that provide trust and credibility in the work that we're doing and help grow our community. So big shout out to the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, Eastern Municipal Water District, Tomorrow's Talent, Water Replenishment District, Western Municipal Water District, and then our in-kind sponsors that provide a lot of support with technical questions, with guidance, and that's the California Environmental Education Foundation and California Community Colleges. So a big shout out to them. My name is Tiffany Baca. If you don't know me, I am the Executive Director of WEEA and have been since 2020. I'm also the Public Affairs Manager of the Municipal Water District of Orange County, who leads WEEA and is responsible for administering it. We're going to drop my email and LinkedIn link in the chat. Please feel free to reach out, contact me, let me know what your ideas are. If anything sparks interest for you and you have some ideas maybe for a future meeting or a future conversation, please let me know. Okay, guidelines. These, for those who've been with us for a while, these haven't changed. We never host these meetings as a webinar because we really believe in open dialogue. So please use that chat to answer each other's questions, to support your community, to help guide questions or provide insight in the chat. That's what that is for. In the Zoom application, please make sure your screen name is correct and include your organization. I'm going to have to change mine once I'm done talking. I did introduce myself, so hopefully everybody knows who I am. But this also just helps us align who you are with where you're at in the conversation. We do ask that everyone remain muted unless presenting or asking a question. It just keeps that background noise to a minimum so that we can concentrate on the things that are being presented and reserving the chat for comments. Also, if you have a question, please raise your hand via the Zoom application. We have one of my team on board who's going to be monitoring the chat and making sure to keep an eye out for those hands raised so that everyone has a chance to participate. And if you need closed captioning, it is available. This is our agenda today. We're doing welcome and introductions now. We'll follow up with good news and announcements, and this is a chance for you to participate. I've got a couple of announcements that have come my way that I need to share, but open it up. If you have something really exciting, maybe you've gotten a grant recently, or you've introduced a new program, or you have a career event coming up, or have created a new partnership, this is really a chance to share with this community. At 9:30, we're going to have our presentation, much anticipated, from Valley Water, and we'll follow up with Q&A at 10:15. We'll take a quick break, stretch, get some coffee, get ready for our second half, which is the facilitated breakout groups. And we do have questions that we guide you through, just again to keep us focused and to keep us in the right space, because we also don't want these meetings for you to show up and then forget about them when you leave, or to think about them and not have some sort of action that follows up. So we do have those facilitated breakout groups, and then we'll have a quick regional share out, about 3 minutes each, and then we'll close at noon. I wanted to start our part today by reminding everybody that we did have a statewide report that was unleashed last year in March. So it's almost been a year, and we did this in partnership with the Centers of Excellence for Labor Market Research. They took on the project and they did it statewide because I was really having a lot of trouble gathering accurate information from our community colleges and from our industry partners. What we hear about the silver tsunami, but what are your actual retirement rates? What are your anticipated gaps? There's a real disconnect from what we think we know and what is actually happening. So we had this report. We're dropping links in the chat for that in case you wanted to reference it again. You can also find those along with some of our other resources, the career brochures that we offer on modoc.com/WEEA. That's getting put in the chat. But the 4 areas of recommendation from this report were not a big surprise to anybody. We knew it, but we really just didn't have the data that confirmed it until last year. We need to work on awareness. Students don't know about these jobs. In some cases, educators don't know about these jobs. Nobody was surprised about that. Partnerships. We need to work collaboratively with community colleges, ROPs, anybody who offers a training program so that the curriculum that they use aligns with our workforce needs. Skills, making sure that the skills that we're promoting and that are included in our job descriptions are actually the skills that we're hiring for, because the worst thing that can happen is that you post a job and you have a training and the applicant comes and they don't meet the minimum requirements. So we need to make sure all of that aligns. And then diversity, making sure that both internally and in our external communications, we're really being intentional about diversifying our workforce and providing opportunities for those that already exist within our organization. In October, I started a poll, and I really wanted to see what the ranking was, how people felt about each of these categories. What did they consider was a priority? And overwhelmingly, 54% of us ranked awareness as the top priority. It doesn't mean that any of these things aren't equally as important. It just means that's where we wanted to start. So 54% ranked awareness first. We had 90 completions of the survey. Kind of strangely, because there was only one question, we had almost 400 starts. Again, it was one question, so I'm surprised that we only had 90 completions, but that's okay. Again, one of the great things about WEEA is that industry is not talking to industry, education is not talking to education, we're talking to each other. And time and again, it's shown by things like this quick survey. 60% of industry and 40% of education responded to the survey, and we're pretty well aligned with the ranking order of the things that we need to work on. So I know we're doing a lot of this, but I want us to be aware of that. So as we're going into our next phase and our next efforts, we're keeping these things in mind, and we can say, absolutely, we're addressing awareness and these are the ways. Absolutely, we're addressing partnerships and these are the ways. Just being mindful about the way we approach workforce development.
Tiffany?
Nick, hold on just a second. We're moving into our good news and announcements segment. Again, you're going to raise your hand. I see Nick has his hand up, but I also wanted to share quickly a couple of things that have come our way from people who either couldn't join the conversation or just wanted us to share. A reminder to Los Angeles and OC regions, the California Municipal Utilities Association has issued that grant for us to build quality career pathways to water and energy jobs. That deadline is coming up on March 29th. They're doing that in partnership with Jewish Vocational Services, California African American Water Education Foundation, Water Education for Latino Leaders. So keep this in mind. If you're in LA or you're in Orange County and you plan on applying for this grant, there are others who are doing the same. And it might be beneficial if you talk to the folks who are already applying so you're not competing, and maybe see if there's a way to partner. Just a recommendation, but that information is also in the chat. I don't know if West Basin is in the house and they want to give a shout out, but the El Camino College and West Basin do have a Discover a Career in Water Night, and that's on March 21st. We're going to drop a link to the flyer in the chat. And then just on the subject of awareness, because that's kind of what we're focusing on first. I got an email just this morning from California Water Environment Association, who are emphasizing awareness in March, April, and May, and they had some great suggestions on how they plan on doing that, including writing articles, having panel discussions. So when we get into our breakout rooms and we give you the prompt about awareness, consider these things. How might we improve awareness? What are some tactics we can use? What's really important about this is the brochures project that we launched last year, and now those brochures are available in a total of 9 languages. I know for a fact that at least 100,000 hard copies have been distributed statewide. We just had another meeting this last week where some of our Orange County educators took them. We just delivered them to some water agencies in Orange County. So it's growing and growing and growing, but all of that came out of an idea. Just an idea shared with this collaborative. You know what would be great and what we're missing. And I think that there are more ideas out there. We just need to share them with each other. So let's start with good news and announcements. Nick, go right ahead.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany. My name is Nicholas Dibbs. I'll be putting some of this information into the chat. I recently received my CTE credential to teach water utility pathway career and technical education classes to high school students. However, as I have gone through a job search, I find that and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've not been able to find any public high schools in LA or Orange County that offer a water utilities pathway for high school students. And I've uncovered or discovered some impediments. I've contacted a number of public school districts, and I believe WEEA, under awareness, could have an active role in trying to help the school districts overcome some of the impediments that have been shared with me by school district staff as to why they are not offering a water utilities pathway to students. And I think that these impediments can be overcome. What I'm proposing is that we consider establishing a collaborative WEEA CTE, Career Technical Education Subcommittee, to consider and propose some potential ideas and solutions to help high school districts provide high school students or help school districts provide high school students with career and technical education, CTE, for water utilities career pathway classes. And some of the impediments have been shared with me by LAUSD staff, and other school districts have conveyed and shared these impediments. These can be overcome, and I've come up with some ideas just as talking points. One would be that water districts and agencies could provide perhaps some seed money in the form of a one-time grant to help school districts overcome the costs. And having also, one of the concerns is that we don't have enough CTE teachers, so that if people like me come along and I eventually retire, who's going to replace me? So one of the things that needs to happen is for water agencies and districts to line up some of their people who are going to be retiring in the near future and put this knowledge and skills that they've accumulated over years to good use, and ask them if they'd like to obtain their CTE credentials, so that then when they retire, or if they want to teach part-time before they retire, that they can share their knowledge and skills with the up-and-coming workforce. And there are other ideas here too. I do believe that we need a subcommittee to look at this stuff. It's too much to handle in a regular WEEA meeting. And so I would ask you, Tiffany, and your staff and the leadership here is if we can consider establishing a CTE subcommittee for the future.
Tiffany, let me just kind of speak to that. I understand what he's going through. You have to understand California community colleges have what's called dual and concurrent enrollment, and that's partnership with the K through 12. So that might be what you're encountering. And the goal is that these students can take water classes at a college level and also earn college credit. So that might be the impediment. And it's all offered through the K through 12 is supported through the state chancellor's office. So it's community colleges, UC, as well as CSU. So I'd love to be on that steering committee, because that's what you're encountering. They already have a pipeline established. And that is the way the chancellor's office is viewing. I'm just saying for water, but just career technical education. They want to make sure that, and like I said, for the water agencies, if they want to be part of the steering committee, I think that's wonderful as well too. But I'd love to speak to that because I know that's what you're probably encountering. I've spoke to this about that before, is that the K through 12 pipeline is to the California Community College, and that's why they set up the dual and concurrent enrollment program, thinking that juniors and seniors in high school would have access to college level education in water resources. And it's just not for water. There's other, CTE programs, machining, electrical as well too. So I'd like to be part of that committee to kind of give you some insight from the community college or the state chancellor's standpoint. Okay.
I just want to address that quickly, and that's that the point is, and the course I'm trying to propose is a dual college enrollment, and our community colleges are wonderful jewels for this, but having it taught as dual enrollment also at the high school level and bringing awareness to the kids, to the students as to what careers are out there. We do have some 3 school districts, but they're outside of LA and Orange County, that are offering a CTE class in water utilities, that 3 that I know of, but we have nothing in LA or Orange County. I'm just saying, in addition to the community colleges, we could offer dual enrollment at the high school with the dual enrollment option taught. I would dovetail it in with San Diego Canyon College or one of the other community colleges, and or the Ken Carey course in the Office of Water Programs at CSU Sacramento. So I think we need more at the high school level to bring more awareness, and yes, put them in through the community college dual enrollment. Yes, thank you.
Great. Anyone else have any good news or announcements, something that you wanted to share with the group? I don't see any hands. Anything in the chat that we need to address? Bill.
Yes, I just I'm an advisor to CEF at this point, but I'm really excited that we are again offering our Teacher Institute on best practices of environmental education and stewardship. And this year we are launching a new panel of CTE experts in one of our sessions for the teachers to help them learn exactly about what Nick is talking about how to get kids to transition from high schools into community colleges and look at the CTE pipeline. So I'm very excited to announce that it's off and running. We just started last Saturday, and we'll continue the Institute for about 3 months.
Love it. And Bill, do you have, are you full? Do you know if the CEF teacher training is full?
It's not full, but and it's possible that we could still accept some late enrollees because a couple people were not able to make the first meeting, and we allow one makeup, and we record all our Zoom sessions. It's all done virtually, but we have a number of sponsors on this phone call that are helping with this effort. And so if there were some people that they knew that there were some high school teachers that wanted to participate, or junior high, even down to 4th and 5th grade, 6th grade teachers, we'd certainly look at that seriously.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. I just wanted to share good news. Many people on the call know Kathy Schultz here at the California Department of Water Resources, who has been serving as our education and outreach coordinator for many years. And she just got promoted to being our education and outreach supervisor. So that's good for her. It also means that California Department of Water Resources will have an opening soon for someone to come and direct our K through 12 water education plan. And so just wanted to alert the group to be on the lookout for that posting. And if you know people that might be interested, if you yourself are interested, please feel free to reach out to us, and I can help answer any questions about the application process for that, which can be a little challenging for some people with the state.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, Kathy has been in that role for a while, and we've all so much enjoyed her professionalism, her dedication to her work, to furthering education, to introducing workforce and CTE. Matter of fact, our presenter and I met for the first time at a DWR meeting. We helped co-host one of the DWR meetings. So there's a lot that comes out of those meetings. If you're an educator, we wish Kathy the best of luck. And Brian, is your contact information in the chat if others are interested in that position?
I'll put it in there, Tiffany.
Great, thank you so much. Amy.
Hi, my name is Amy Choiwan. I'm from North Orange County Regional Occupational Program, ROP, and I'm not sure how I got the invitation to this meeting. It's my first time attending. And I want to connect with Nicholas, for example, because ROP is interested in bringing some sort of a career pathway for sustainability. It is such a growing sector. And as we looked at all the ROPs in Orange County and we realized that we don't have any pathway in that sector. So we're very, very interested in, and we are open to looking for other grant opportunities. We already have a lot of collaboration with the community colleges as well. So I'm so glad that somehow I got into this meeting, and I put my email address in the chat. So please reach out to me. I'd love to learn more about how we can collaborate together, bring this information and opportunity to our students.
Thank you, Amy. And you will have a chance to talk a little bit more about this in the Orange County breakout room if you're able to stay. Thanks for joining us. Madeline.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madeline Murray. I put this in the chat, but I work for DUDAC. It's an environmental consulting firm, and we worked with the California Department of Water Resources. So just kind of going along that train of thought there about the K through 12 education, we worked on creating K through 12 bilingual water literacy educational materials, which are available online in both Spanish and English. We put a lot of work and effort into these and are looking to make sure that they're being utilized. So joining today to just hear from the community, but also hopefully get in contact with those that are interested in possibly piloting these materials. We are in the process of trying to figure out how to do that and take that next step. So I put that information in the chat where you can find these materials, but I'll also put my contact information so that anyone that's interested can reach out, and look forward to chatting more with everyone. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Madeline. Elizabeth.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth from Santiago Canyon College. Just want to go ahead and inform everyone that we've been working very closely with our local high schools at Orange Unified School District, and we are planning in doing a water utility pathway with our students. We also submitted 2 big grants to the DOL and the EPA regarding this same work, in addition to pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs in this area.
Great, that's great news. Nick, I bet that makes your heart sing.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for Elizabeth. That.
Okay, right on track. Does anybody else have any good news or announcements? Anything you'd like to share with the group? Before?
I do. I'm looking for the information on the chat, but I'm Cheryl Davis, and I was previously the chair of Baywork, and now I'm doing some consulting with utilities in New England, and I was very excited to hear the announcement a few minutes ago about the materials that have been developed that are in both Spanish and English, and I'm furiously looking at my chat to try to locate that, but I will enter into the chat also my contact information so that maybe we can establish communication, because that's really could be very valuable. I think the whole idea of, we've been talking about it in the AWWA Workforce Strategies Committee, of looking for templates, that successfully address different groups or different women or men or diversity or different phases in their life or different kind of jobs, but for us to share templates with each other that can be individually branded, anywhere in the country, and use so that we can all help ourselves and help each other. So to me, that's a dominant thing we should try to go toward, because every little utility can't take this on by itself. So the ability to have readily transferable templates is really valuable.
Thank you, Cheryl. And that's a great point. And you and I have talked about this community and the ability to share resources and data and educational materials. It is so important. There's no reason for, someone let's just say in Northern California who has all these great resources, for someone in Southern California, maybe with less, to have to start from the beginning. So keeping in mind this as a collaborative community, if you have those resources that you can share, or you can provide some guidance for others if they don't have those materials, that's always appreciated and very valuable for the people in this group. All right, one last call before we move on to our presentation for good news
Don
and announcements. Don Jones.
Don Jones from Cuyamaca College, from the Center for Water Studies. And we work very collaborative down here across the board. We're also now just recently started working with the County Office of Education down here, which represents 500,000 students at 750 schools. And most importantly, 57 of those are high schools. And so we're working with him to get the brochure that WEEA has produced out to all of the high school counselors in our region. And that's really the critical piece here, I think, is if we're truly going to make any inroads in getting ourselves on the map, it's for high school guidance counselors to have a brochure, ready information, so that when they're meeting with parents, meeting with students, that we're on the radar. They say, oh, well, they don't want to go to four-year school, but they want to do something with the work outdoors. They want to do something to contribute to the environment, their community, that kind of stuff. Well, have you ever thought of a job as a wastewater treatment plant operator? The only way we're going to get on that radar is to make sure that they have something tangible they can use as a conversation starter.
And you're absolutely right about that. And you're not alone in thinking that. And I think the brochures were such a good way for us to be able to share something in that space. And they've gone across the state. Like I said, we have at least 100,000 copies that I'm aware of printed that have been distributed to community colleges, to high schools, to career centers, because this is a conversation we need to be having together, right? And from every perspective, not just water industry when we go to an event, but they're being shared there too, along with job descriptions. So if you want those brochures, again, they're available to everybody. You can put your logo on them. You can make them personal. They're in 9 languages. This is for water and for energy. And thank you both, Don and Bill Andrews, for that particular suggestion, because, I couldn't even imagine. I didn't even imagine it was going to be this big, and it really is. And these are the ideas that we're looking for, that we can take action on in this group. So keep coming up with those great ideas, because they're very helpful to a larger community. All right, moving on. The reason while everybody's here. Oh, actually, let's do an icebreaker. So awareness is at the top of our priorities. That's what we've determined through not just the report that we distributed last year, but also through the poll that we took, the poll results. For water industry people and energy industry people, I'd like you to think about one thing about your current job. And I kind of being playful here, that makes your heart sing, right? What is it that that gets you up every day and makes you say, you know what, this is a great job? It could be the benefits, the pay, and all of that, but I bet there's something else that's driving that. And I can share mine with you. I love my job. I love what I get to do. I love being able to connect people to resources that matter. I love being able to share information and education with the broader public, so they take our resources seriously and they become advocates for those resources as well. That's what I love about my job. If we can't get excited about the work that we do and we're talking to students, how can we expect students to get excited about this? So I challenge you to find those things, or that thing that makes you excited, And please share that in the chat, because our educators need to know how to promote too. They don't have the jobs that we have, but if they know what makes you happy, if they know the benefits outside of what's on a piece of paper, well, they can talk to students then about the other benefits that we may not do a great job of sharing, because we're just thinking about, health insurance, good pay, but there are other things about these jobs that keep us here and keep us here for 50 years. So if you have something that you'd like to share about what makes your heart sing, please put that in the chat. And then I encourage everybody to do that throughout this program if you have an opportunity. Help our educators help us promote and get us grounded when we're out in the world promoting these jobs. And without further ado, I'm so excited about this program. I really am so excited about this program. We have Valley Water. And a portion of the Tiger team, which is what they call themselves, we're very fortunate to have Mera Burton and Ingrid Bella here with Valley Water to talk about the work that they've been doing, the systematic work that feeds into the next program, that feeds into the next program, that addresses the 4 challenges very clearly and the 4 recommendations that we have. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but they're going to talk about their Next Gen Career Pathways program and how it's a catalyst for statewide economic development and educational enhancement, and they can do it better, way better than I can. So buckle in. Mera, you have the floor.
Thank you, Tiffany. Ingrid's going to be sharing her screen. I'm having a little technical challenge, so I'm hoping that my volume and that my video are working the entire presentation. We're so excited to be here with you today. I'm actually really honored to be presenting with Ingrid, who is my unit manager and also one of my mentors here at Valley Water. We have another screen that talks a little bit more about who we are, so I'll get into the presentation. This is an exciting presentation because we're getting to share about how our Next Gen Career Pathways is a strategy for regional growth and economic stability within Santa Clara County and also within the state of California as well, too. Next slide. So in recent years, Santa Clara County has recognized the imperative need to foster regional growth and to fortify education to career pathways. And this presentation will talk about that. And in this context, Valley Water's Next Gen Career Pathways program has emerged as a pivotal component and a comprehensive strategy. The presentation will also outline different DEI strategies. We'll share the 4 initiatives that we're working on here at Valley Water. We'll end with some best practices and then answer questions that you may have. Next slide. All right, Ingrid, take it away.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It was nice to see some familiar faces, and it's just a wonderful meeting the way you guys have it organized, and seeing all the efforts that we all have for the passion of really connecting our future workforce to this industry. I saw Cheryl Davis, who's the founder of Baywork. I was privileged to be the chair of Baywork, a consortium of water and wastewater utilities here in the San Francisco Bay Area that works on workforce sustainability. And then I've been in HR, in private industry before coming to Valley Water. And now it's not even 18 years, Mera, it's almost 20 years I've been here with Valley Water, and it just doesn't even seem that long. So I've been really excited to have been on the operations side, on the water utility side, where I was able to help implement some of the programs that Mera is going to talk about. And now I'm part of the HR team overseeing talent acquisition and career pathways.
Great, and I'm Mera Burton. I like to start with my why, as why Valley Water and why HR and why careers in water. And it all goes back to, the beginning. I am a former high school teacher. I taught resource at Palo Alto High School for 10 years. And I worked with students that had so much talent and kinetic ability. And I did not know about careers in water when I was teaching at the high school level. And so I always say that this is my atonement. This is how I'm making up for 10 years of just not knowing about these lucrative and sustainable careers in the water industry so that I can help share career message. So yes, just trying to atone for those 10 years of not knowing about careers in the water industry so that I can help students have lucrative and sustainable careers here in water. Before Valley Water, I worked for NASA as well. That gave me some program leadership skills and ability put together in that fashion. So our program is a coordinated system that really helps to expand our homegrown outreach. And what we mean by homegrown is our local students here in Santa Clara County and throughout the state. We're working with high schools, community colleges, and local universities to help expand our talent pool. We're also collaborating with industry partners and educational partners to have more awareness of careers in the STEAM industry. And really the outcome and the goal is to create these employment pathways for our underserved and underrepresented communities and for these students to take a part in careers in the water industry. So I like to start with the beginning. When I was putting the program together, we looked at some other organizations that were doing really well in terms of pathway programs. And we discovered LA Metro, who is a transportation authority, and they had an amazing career pathways program. We looked at some alignment and saw that, like Metro, we offered a current college internship program. And like Metro, we wanted to expand our high school internships. I think Valley Water was also very advantageous that the former HR deputy from Metro came to Valley Water in June of 2022. So not only were we putting the program together in the spirit of the Metro Foundation, but then we also were able to have, an industry professional who had launched the Pathways program there. So we're very lucky to have Patrice McElroy, who is our deputy from LA Metro, who's helping to also lead the charge and the challenge for us here at Valley Water. Next slide. We were also very advantageous at Valley Water to have a board members and our D&I ad hoc committee members that were very adamant about wanting to bring a program to Valley Water and to Santa Clara County to support students from underserved communities. And in the spirit and the fashion of their vision, we were able to look at our board governance policies and align our program so that way our program is embedded in the fabric of our agency. And we took a specific look at the median house. We also took a look at our household incomes in Santa Clara County and then areas of the EPA advisories for areas of communities that might be affected by socioeconomic or health factors. So as you can see, this program, like I said, is embedded in the fabric of Valley Water to make sure that our program is meeting the communities that we're trying to serve. Next slide. So what is our program? It is a coordinated system of programs that are embedded to enhance and support students from disadvantaged communities. Our programs work multifacetedly, they work cyclically, and they all work together to enhance and awareness for the skills that students will need to move forward in these careers as well. So this is where it gets really exciting. This is where you get to see our 4 different initiatives and how they're all working. Our Waterworks is a 6-month work experience initiative for community college and 4-year university students that are looking to enhance career readiness skills. The Waterworks program just launched in January of this year, and I'll talk a bit more about that program later on in the presentation and what we're doing to continue our funding efforts for that program. Our next program I'll share is our Discover Valley Water, and that is looking to increase the candidates for our summer internship program. We also work closely with minority serving institutions and historically Black colleges and universities to enhance our applicant pool and have more visibility throughout the nation. I'll share more about that program as well. Something that's near and dear to my heart is the Wonders of Water High School program that we launched last February. So it's been about a year now, and we're working with local high schools, our Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, and I'll share more about why specifically we decided to work with Cristo Rey for this program and how we're looking to enhance the program for our public school students as well. And then lastly, a program that is near and dear to my heart is our Water Educator Training Weeks. And that is where we work closely with Baywork, Ignited, the Text and Pathways, and the California Environmental Education Foundation, or CEF, to support their teacher externship programs and their teacher programs throughout the spring and the summers. And I'll share more about those partnerships and connections during this presentation. So a question that we normally get is budget. So I wanted to be very transparent. Our program has 3 full-time employees. So that's myself. There is 2 of my employees were recent graduates and recent interns from Valley Water who have moved forward. So not only are we making the commitment with the program, but we're also making the commitment with our strategic hiring of who is in this program. We love it because one of our full-time employees is actually a learning fellow. So she will move into a full-time employment position at the end of her fellowship. The other programmatic costs that you see are overhead costs, and those go to fund the salaries for our summer interns and our waterworks students throughout their engagements at Valley Water. So I love this slide because it really does show the importance of partnerships. We know that we would not be able to make these advancements in career awareness if we did not have strategic partnerships and we were not able to leverage our partnerships in the community. So as you can see, we have some really great players that we are involved with: our Evergreen Valley colleges, our Santa Clara County Office of Education, Baywork is also there, Ignited, Metro Ed, San Jose State University. So there's a plethora of different partnerships that we're able to leverage for this program. And I'll talk a bit more about how each of those partnerships has helped us to advance the program forward. All right, so through our Discover Valley Water initiative, we are actively engaging with diverse school communities to attract underrepresented groups to our established internship program. We're also helping to promote stable and lucrative careers and increase fairness and equity in the hiring outcomes in order to produce a more diverse workforce that reflects the communities that we serve. We've really enhanced our recruitment efforts also by sending more diverse staff members to our recruitment fairs. We're really excited because this year we had over 1,200 applicants for our 47 positions that we're offering for the summer. And so we're looking to increase those 47 positions to a full 60, so we can onboard our full class of 60 students. When we were doing some of the deep dive into how are students hearing about us, where we're using our social media platforms, we're using Handshake, and something that we did this year that was unique is we had community roundtable meetings with specific groups that we invited to hear about our programs, to share with their students, to attract their students to apply for our programs. So again, we're really trying to enhance our recruitment efforts. Next slide. We also took a look at our local universities, either 4-year, 2-year, or NCTE schools, to see what schools had alignments with majors in the water industry. When I say alignment with majors, that could be our hard sciences like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and water management, but it could also be our behind the scenes jobs like education, human resources, and finance. And when we took that approach, we saw that there were many schools that had majors that could feed into our employment opportunities. And so we're developing strategic partnerships with these organizations and these educational foundations so that we can then have that personable one-on-one contact with these schools and we can share our opportunities with them. For example, at Gavilan College down in our Gilroy, South County area, they have a water management program that we're able to fill our skilled trades internships with their students. And this year, it's very exciting because all 3 of those skilled trades interns are employed by female candidates this year. And so we're really seeing that uptick in diversity and recruitment and diversity and awareness and who is able to take a part of these wonderful opportunities. So one thing that we are also doing is utilizing social media for our outreach because it provides a dynamic platform to connect with our diverse audiences. It's also a great way to get information out and then to cultivate a community around shared interest or causes. We can also track the immediacy and widespread reach of our social media platforms to make them invaluable tools for awareness. We are also able to get support from our students and foster ongoing engagement with our local audiences. Here you're seeing one of our summer internship takeovers. This was from summer 2022 when we promoted our internships for National Intern Day. It was actually one of our most engaged with social media campaigns thus far for our internship program, and it's something that we're looking to enhance on and expand yearly. So moving on to our Waterworks, which is our high school internship program. Here we are leveraging our existing relationships with Santa Clara County Office of Education and individual school districts to develop career pathway classes and programs at the high school level and to also bring awareness to careers of Valley Water at the K-8 level. As I said earlier, before I came to the Career Pathways program, I was the Education Outreach Program Manager, helping to really charge that mission of the K-8 in the classroom. And there we began doing early career messaging. Do you know where your water comes from? Who's had water today? Just to make water a visible entity in the students' lives so that they can begin to see how water affects their lives and understand the careers that come with it as well too. So right now, one of my colleagues, Robert Scott, who is actually the president of Baywork, is working on a collaboration with our Silicon Valley Career Tech Ed, or SVCTE. That is our high school career tech ed program here in Santa Clara County. Robert is working on a commitment to support education and employment areas that are relevant to Valley Water, such as engineering, metals technology, and water distribution with SVCTE and trade school partners, and helping to provide high school students year-round and summer internship opportunities. So I'll be excited to come back and speak to you next year just about what that year-round high school internship and summer internship opportunities has flourished into with our connection with SVCTE. So earlier I talked about our collaboration with Cristo Rey Jesuit High School and why we're working directly with them. because Cristo Rey offers a unique opportunity to engage with mission-driven educational institutions that are already committed to empowering underserved students through their distinctive work-study program. Through this partnership, the Valley Water Next Gen Career Pathways program can contribute to the academic and professional development of the students, helping to foster a mutually beneficial relationship that combines education and real work experience and community impact. This year, we have 3 students from Cristo Rey that are junior levels in school. One of our students is housed in our mitigation and monitoring unit. He's very excitedly showing us that he's working on databases that are helping to capture the steelhead trout, steelhead and salmon and trout that are in the waterways by inputting scale samples into an Excel spreadsheet. It's something that he's very excited about. And then 2 of our students are housed in the Office of Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and they're working with our employee resource groups to enhance their online presence and internal websites. So we're really trying to get the students out into our Valley Water community and working on jobs so that they can see themselves in these careers in the future. Now the program that is near and dear to my heart, they're all near and dear to my heart, but coming out of the classroom and as a former educator, I get really excited about our water educator training weeks. So in 2023, we featured presentations from our Office of Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, our career pathways teams, our youth commissioners, our summer interns, and water conservation. These presentations were highly successful in sharing valuable insights about water education, diversity, career opportunities, and also conservation. As our Water Week concluded with Ignited, the educators had a tour of the Advanced Water Purification Center, and they were also provided hands-on activities to better understand the water treatment process. In working with our TechSTEM Pathways Summer Institute, these educators worked with one of our Valley Water engineers, Zach, who is a water filtration specialist, to help design a water filtration device that they could take back to the students in their classroom. We really enjoy working with the various education groups and helping to support educators on, developing their content and curriculum for their students. We've also worked with Walden West Outdoor Education and Morgan Hill Unified School District for comprehensive and impactful and engaging experiences that focus on environmental education. So these were outdoor practices and outdoor classes that we were teaching. These workshops equip the partners and participants with innovative teaching methods and enable them to integrate nature-based learning into their curriculum. The collaboration between Valley Water and Morgan Hill Unified School District actually demonstrates the importance of fostering a community of educators. In Morgan Hill, we had one of our Ignited teachers graduated from the program and is now the CTE coordinator for Morgan Hill Unified School District. So we love to see that progression of her learning about careers in water and then her helping to find opportunities for her students as well too. So we support her class and her endeavors in field trips and curriculum development and also educator training for her teachers down in Morgan Hill. So what we're looking to do for our WaterWorks program, this is a brand new program that we just launched January 26th of this year. So 1 month ago, and these students, we have 9 students from various local colleges, whether it be community colleges or four-year universities that are working through this program. This program is an effort to outreach to students from disadvantaged communities and to increase the awareness and reduce disparities in Valley Water. The program in its entirety will actually have 25 students per year. We are going to continue to partner with our local colleges and universities to find students from designated majors to participate in the program. Most of these students live or attend school in Santa Clara County, might fall under low income or first generation college student as well too. So we're really looking, like I said, to increase and advance students from disadvantaged communities. We have also just submitted our a grant from the EPA for water initiatives, and we're hoping to have a strategic opportunity to secure more funding that can contribute to the implementation of this essential project that's aimed at helping the next pathways. And so we are hoping to hear back from the EPA within the next 8 weeks on the grant proposal that we submitted back in November. One thing about our waterworks students is it's okay, Ingrid, you can keep it there. Our waterworks students, they are guaranteed summer internships as well too. So not only are they moving from a work experience program, but they're moving into an additional summer internship experience as well. And then we're hoping that that experience will lead to a year-round internship. And then that experience will lead to them coming back as a full-time employee. So with our Waterworks program, we're looking to track the students and their graduation. This was a desire and a vision from our current board chair, Director Nai Shua, who had the vision to bring this program to life in the 90s. And so we're excited that we are the team, Ingrid, myself, and our Tiger team that are helping to bring this program to life now to enhance students as they move forward in the future. Okay, so best practices. Next slide. We're just going to talk about fostering our local talent. And so what we do is we identified and nurture our local students, addressing the workforce needs of the region's water industry. We work closely with community-based organizations and economic workforce development agencies to understand the current and future labor demands so that we can ensure that education and skills-based training are getting to the students that need it the most. I love this photo here because those are some of our summer interns from this last summer, 2023, that are out with their mentors out in the field in the pipelines division. So we're hoping to enhance and strengthen our education to career pathways by offering a seamless transition from education to workforce and to promote partnerships between K-12 schools, community colleges, universities, and employers to help make the pathway more visible to students in these high-demand career fields. Another thing that we do here, I think really well, is our targeted workforce development, which means that the students and our interns and our early career professionals are getting great training with local employment opportunities in the water industry. Our summer interns have Friday learning experiences. They get to collaborate with industry professionals and other professionals that are out of Valley Water to hear about ways to have different skills, different trainings, and connect their network and expand their network. One thing that we're offering this summer is going to be how to build a LinkedIn page that will land you a job. So every year we're trying to enhance and develop our summer internship offerings to really make our interns stand out as they move forward in their careers. Another best practice that we employ here is sustainability. Valley Water promotes sustainable practices within the water industry, contributing to the long-term economic stability of Santa Clara County. By encouraging our eco-friendly initiatives, our Next Gen Career Pathway program simultaneously enhances our region's economy and environment. What we're seeing is that our newer employees, they want that homegrown talent for the future workforce, and they also want to work for a company that has great sustainability, which is crucial to their own growth and their own corporate responsibility. And we feel at Valley Water, it's important to provide this environmental consciousness for all of our workers. because we know that it helps to sustain their practices not only in the positions that they're taking on now, but them being a global citizen as well, and a Valley Water employee to represent that global citizenship as they move forward. Again, we're looking to strengthen those education to career pathways and collaborating with our employment-based agencies throughout Santa Clara County. And these collaborations ensure that students have clear, relevant, and effective pathways into the water industry. And also, it's very important for skill building. We recognize in the need for adaptable skills, and the program offers skill building workshops and stackable certifications that enable individuals to upskill and remain competitive in the evolving job market. So depending on what summer internship position the students are accepting, there might be additional skills or training that they'll need before they can go onto the job. Our Valley Water subject matter experts and mentors help the students obtain the skills, obtain the training, and obtain those additional certifications so that they can go into the field as skilled and as trained as possible. So the photo that you're seeing now, we're calling our Valley Water Yearbook Photo 2023. This is a snapshot of some of our summer interns. We love this photo because it really does help to emphasize the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion in our strategic hiring and outreach that we've done to enhance and attract students from across the nation for our summer internships. And so now I'm going to talk a little bit more about our DEI strategies that we're using.
Mera, can you get closer to your microphone?
Okay. Is that better? I
Better.
can also turn. Okay. So our diverse outreach strategies, we're really looking to implement our targeted outreach efforts. As we said, we're using our social media, we use Handshake, we have direct connections with colleges and universities, and that person to person. We've also done our community roundtable events with various colleges and universities to enhance our visibility when it comes to eliminating the barriers to access. We're also really looking to have our economic and our homegrown internships. So looking to help kind of alleviate some of the constraints for our geographic limitations by starting the conversations of what can we offer these students that are coming from across the nation. So we're in conversations with Silicon Valley Leadership Group and United Negro College Fund to see how can we help support students in terms of housing. So that's another question that we're working on and another challenge that we're trying to face. So we do a great job, I think, with mentorships and providing support to our interns. What that means is that we do a one-on-one matching. So as our summer interns are looking to apply to these positions, we have gone through and really tried to have an inclusive workforce. So we have positions from all different divisions of Valley Water, whether it be water utility, watersheds, Office of the CEO, Office of Administrative Services, External Affairs, Community Benefits, you name it, we have strategic mentorships and support for those students as well. In our inclusive workforce, we do have our employee resource groups. And so during our intern and our early career professionals engagement with Valley Water, we encourage them to join an employee resource group. These are like our clubs here at Valley Water so that they can have additional networking and additional support in terms of mentorship as well. And our employee resource groups do a lot of community engagement and volunteering in the community. So the students are able to also have that networking through community practices and involvement in working with our employee resource groups. So moving forward, it's imperative that stakeholders continue to invest and support programs like this, recognizing their potential to transform not only individual lives, but also the entire region and statewide economy. Our Next Gen Career Pathways program serves as a cornerstone in California's multifaceted strategy to revitalize regional economies and our own homegrown strategies as well, in terms of enhancing visibility for water education and water careers in Santa Clara County. We're hoping that our engagements with organizations like WEEA will continue our ongoing success of the program and the demands throughout the state of California for more careers in the water industry. And now we'll have questions.
Woo. Let's go ahead and stop your screen share. There we go. So we can have both Mera and Ingrid, and I can see our community. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but this comprehensive set of programs that complement each other, that feed into each other. There's a system to it. There's strategy to it. Each supports the other. This is just an incredible work that you do. And I'm quite sure we have a lot of questions. Great. We already have someone saying, yeah, what she said. So let's go ahead and go to the chat and raise your hands if you have questions. I have a couple of my own, but let's hear from Gina.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey. I put it in the chat and was curious to ask this group here. Thank you so much for sharing all that you did. We're talking, Tiffany mentioned diversity is one of the big focuses. Mera, you talked a lot about the DEI efforts and connections you're making to the programming. I'm curious what the status is. Do we have data about what diversity, what are the markers? Is there any data about what the state of the water industry or any kind of more broadly public works industries is looking like? So who do we target? Who are we focusing on?
Yeah. Any Mera or Ingrid, or do you want me to go first?
Probably Tiffany, if you want to talk about the industry, and I know Mera had her staff look at some of the demographics from our area.
And I think that is a key point, right? So when we were looking at how to get organized with WEEA, the big question is, where are the jobs? What do we look like now? What do the training programs look like? If we're being intentional and diversifying our workforce, what does that look like? And so the statewide report that we did with the Centers of Excellence for Labor Market Research identified 8 mission critical jobs. That's where we have to start, because I don't know if everybody knows here, we'll just talk about water. We have over 200 different jobs identified in the water industry, from accounting to public affairs to water treatment, 200. So we had to start somewhere. For us, it was the 8 mission critical jobs, which are primarily in electrical, operational, and maintenance. And we do have data that shows where we're doing a good job and where we're not. We can tell you that both from the college and training programs and our current talent pool, the biggest disparity is women in workforce in those 8 mission critical. That is not a surprise to anybody, but it's quantified now because we have the information. There are several regions who have their own reports. I'm sure Santa Clara has theirs. Baywork has done a lot of work. Inland Empire, all of that is very specific to that region. It is something we need to get a better handle of so that we can address it properly.
Yeah, and I'll answer that question too, Gina. For Valley Water, hopefully everyone can still hear me. I'm hoping that okay, great. I apologize for my sound card is dying a very slow death. For Valley Water, we took a look at, who our local demographics are here in Santa Clara County and how can we help to support those students specifically. And then what messaging can we deliver to the high schools? we're very fortunate here in Santa Clara County to be, in San Jose, and we have our Eastside Union High School district that feeds directly into our Silicon Valley Career Tech Ed schools. Our Eastside Union High School district is a district of 7 or 8 various high schools here on the east side of San Jose. So you have socioeconomic ranges, and that's really what we were taking a look at for our program, is a socioeconomic range of students, because that seemed to be the equalizer here in Santa Clara County. We looked at our program and took the median household income. And so the median household income from a family of 3 in Santa Clara County is $168K. And so we did 80% of that is $122K. So if your family of 3 is making less than $122K a year, then our programs are for you. We saw that that, again, was a huge equalizer for Santa Clara County and for who can have access to our programs. So we're looking at it from a socioeconomic standpoint and less, yes, so we'll say that, socioeconomic standpoint, because that's everybody here in Santa Clara County.
Yeah, and that's such a wonderful point. And I think it's also important to note that, let's not pay attention to our community colleges. This is the group, these are the organizations where we can really tap in to students who need these jobs, who would value these jobs. This is our bread and butter. That's a diverse mix of people. We know that a diverse mix of people go to community colleges. Tap into community colleges. And I think I found some very interesting things recently because, as I've mentioned, Gina, before, industry is kind of new to this. We really haven't had to recruit, right? Now we're looking at mass exodus of jobs, and we don't know how to do it. So when we think about social media, for example, Mera, and you're utilizing that platform, we need to absolutely tap into our partnerships to make this happen together, because we're all coming from different perspectives. Absolutely. That was a great question.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Marina.
Hi, thank you, Tiffany. Wow, what a great presentation. What a great program. Really excited to see that. I'd love to talk to you some more soon. 2 questions very quickly. One, I think that the pathway to reach out to students and community college is great. However, I had 2 questions. One, have you experienced any language barriers with some of the students, and and the parents, I'm assuming, and how have you handled it? And the second question is this: what efforts are being taken to further train existing, let's say, operators at water systems who may not be certified due to economic resources or language barriers because they're not been able to take the exam to qualify? We have a lot of folks who are qualified, but they just can't move up to the next level. So looking forward to your response. Thanks.
Great question.
Thanks, Marina. And so, at Valley Water, we do understand the importance of the various languages that are spoken here throughout our community. We have not, for our Next Gen Career Pathways program, ran into any issues in terms of language barriers. However, we do have staff speak other languages if need be. I know that our education outreach program was offering, programming in various languages, English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, to meet the demographics here of our community. In terms of training, I'm going to put that over to Ingrid, because we are starting a new apprenticeship program in collaboration with Baywork. And so I'll let Ingrid speak a bit more about that.
Yes. So going back again, I'm just so excited to see folks like Cheryl Davis and Dawn Jones. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so it's nice to see you in this meeting. But these are efforts that we've been doing for a long time. Internships have been a little bit easier for us to implement. It's more flexible design, and with the apprenticeship program, it's a little more structured. So we are finally putting together a program for our skilled trades. But we're designing a program that could be used for other types of careers, not just the skilled trades. But we're starting with our instrument and control tech positions. We have 2 positions. We're registering with the Department of Labor for this apprenticeship program. We're putting together. We've worked with our unions that cover these classifications, and they're in agreement and in support. So it's been a long time coming because it's more structured. But we've done the advertising. We got over 170 applications. Unfortunately, you know, it's like when we look at our summer internship, we got 1,200 applications, but we're only trying to fill 60 positions. In this case, we have 170 for 2 positions. We're starting a little bit small, but hopefully in the future we'll be expanding. And as Mera mentioned earlier, if we get the grant through the EPA, that will fund even more positions for the apprenticeship program. So we did a lot of outreach for that. We posted the jobs. We did informational sessions so that potential candidates could ask us questions and really understand what we were looking for. And it's going to be a great opportunity because they're going to be starting at salaries of 80% of our journey level position. And after a period of 4 years, they will be already at mid-range of the journey level position. So it's really exciting time for us to be implementing that. And then some of the other programs that we're also trying to do to be diverse is in our recruitment area, we are developing a fair chance program, as well as partnering with disabled or organizations that have disabled clients, and really trying to bring in more of those opportunities into our organization as well. So it's really exciting time. There's so many resources and opportunities for you know, a diverse workforce to come into our industry.
Such great work. Truly, you're thinking along so many different lines that connect what we need to improve upon. And so I really appreciate that. I would like to also just mention to this group, when we're talking about additional languages, for example, right? We're not just talking about the students that we're recruiting, but we're talking about this, making this a full family discussion. And why does that matter? Because young people don't necessarily always know what the right path is, and mentorship generally starts at home. Even if it's not a great mentor, if your grandma brings you home a brochure, if your mom wants to talk to you about what your path holds, we don't want any barriers to that either. This should be a full family conversation and everybody should be able to participate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. Amanda.
Hi there. Good morning. Thank you both for sharing that presentation and the work you're doing. I had a question on the teacher training week that you do. Do you work with the County Office of Ed or individual school districts to incentivize the teachers to come in and spend a week with you? Are you paying them? Are you providing continuing education credits? How are you handling that?
That's a great question. So yes and yes. When we're working with our educator training weeks, we're working with, I think Emily is on the call. So Emily Dilger and Meg from Ignited, and they are the ones who bring the teachers to us. And then we help support them with tours, with hands-on educational programming, and the water career messaging. When we're working with like CEF, for example, California Environmental Education Foundation, shout out to Bill and Walter and Jen that are on this call here, my fellow CEF board members. We're helping to support teachers through the County Office of Ed. So the County Office of Ed will be our recruitment. And then Valley Water does a small financial support. So that way our Santa Clara County teachers can be compensated by that stipend that CEF gives out as well too.
I just put a link in the chat to bring a little bit more awareness to the Ignited Water Week program that we've run with Valley Water. It is, yes, teachers get $1,000 stipend and then an additional $100 to complete the impact report that we like to call after they've implemented the lesson plan with their classrooms. We like to get feedback about how the students responded to that lesson plan. They also get continuing education credit. We have an awesome partnership with Sac State University to make this very cheap for the teachers. If you want information about that, like that's a great program and they are very happy to work with folks. I will say the majority of continuing education credit units ask for students or ask for teachers to pay per unit. The agreement that we have with Sac State is just one-time payment, regardless of how many units it is. So that makes it much more affordable for the teachers. And then we also, it's not too many hours, but at least it's 40 hours of CTE experience as well, which can, slowly over time add up. Thanks, Mara, for the shout out.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and Ignited does an incredible job bringing educators to industry and having them work together. Why is this important? We in industry, and I'm speaking from energy, I'm speaking from water, we have notoriously gone into a program, maybe hosted something and then left. The problem is our educators are not trained in our work. So we have to prepare them and support them at the beginning of any training program, during the training program, and following the training program, so they feel confident enough in the materials and the education that they can to be advocates for these jobs. The education portion is critical. We know we need CTE teachers. We know that there's a very low number of CTE teachers and it's hard to get them to the table for a variety of reasons. That stipend, which we're learning and have learned, matters. The industry is not used to that because we're kind of used to going in the workroom and putting things together with, super glue and tape and making it work. But teachers have a whole other job and they need to be incentivized to learn more and to continue their education, and that stipend really helps. That's something that we've learned. I'm gonna kill your name. I'm so sorry. Grecia?
It's okay, no worries. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, and can you pronounce your name so I can learn?
Grecia. It's the one with the R that gets people.
Grecia, thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mera and Ingrid, for your presentation. This is amazing work that you're doing. A couple questions to kind of follow up with the teacher training piece. I'm wondering, one, are these teachers that are completing this training then going on to potentially get their CT certification? That's one question. And then the second question I have is, you talked about, your partnership with community colleges and aligning the programs that you have with them. In doing that work, did you find that either you were consulting with them to figure out like what they're doing, or if they're not doing, a program within environmental work, were you helping the development of that, and what does that look like? And in short, I'm working with the community college right now that it wants to start an environmental program pathway. So it'd be great to just get more insight.
Great question. I'll answer the CTE question. I'm actually going to give a shout out to Meg Straz, who's online today right now. She's one of the educators who has graduated from the Ignited Teacher Education Training Program, who was able to earn her 1,000 hours to become a CTE professional as well. So yes, to answer that question, there are educators that are inspired to go on and pursue their CTE credentials. So answer that. And then for the community colleges, I want Ingrid to talk a little bit more about the Gavilan and Valley Water collaboration that we have.
So I agree, Mera, that your question, Grecia, is important because it is sometimes, I think it's been a little challenging to be able to connect with the community colleges, because I think we both want the same thing, but it's hard to figure out how our systems can work together. I understand the challenges that community colleges have in terms of making sure that we're going to have a supply of students that are actually going to want to take the courses, and then finding those instructors. And so there's a lot of things that go into that. Again, I keep mentioning Cheryl and Dawn. I'm so excited that you're here. I know Dawn Jones was instrumental in setting up our curriculum at Gavilan College. I think it was a grant that you had, Dawn, if I'm not mistaken, through AWWA, that had curriculum that we could share with Gavilan College. And then what made the difference is there was a coordinator there at the college that had a passion for it, that saw the opportunity and the connection with our industry to say, yes, I'll take this on. And she really drove it. She since has retired, but the program continues on. And as Mera mentioned, we've connected with them to create a internship program that supports students in that program. And that's a year-round, part-time experience that they come and they work at our different water treatment plants. And so I think in order to be able to connect with our community colleges, we need to be able to understand, you know, what the challenges are and then figure out a way that we can build it. So for that apprenticeship program that I mentioned earlier for instrument control techs, we're partnering with Mission College in Santa Clara, and they have a mechatronics program. So sometimes the programs are already there, and then we could see kind of a connection. And so that helps. We're also in discussions with Evergreen Valley College, one of our board members that's in his district, and he's always wanted to see a similar program that would be more in San Jose. Gavilan is more in the South County. We'd like to see something in the North County. And so we're in discussions with them in terms of understanding and seeing what we can do. The city of San Jose has already tried to implement a Water 101 program there. And so we're trying to see how can we strengthen that. Maybe it's going to have to be looking at any of our staff that maybe wants to be an instructor, because that tends to be a challenge. So lots of work to do, but it can be done. And I think Gavilan College is one of our, you know, success stories.
Yeah, one quick comment on that, and that's unfortunately our community college system is not really a system. We have 115 campuses throughout the state, and they're all semi-autonomous. And so of those, 21 currently offer water wastewater technology programs, but there are a lot of holes in the system right now.
It's tough, but I think as the folks on this call, and Don Jones is also a great example of this, it's possible. It's possible, and possible in a really big way if we do this collaboratively and not in silos. Thank you for your input. I have 714-715-7600 with a hand raised.
Yeah, Tiffany, this is Nicholas. I had to get off the computer. This is Nicholas Dibbs, CTE teacher for Water Career Pathways. Question for Valley Water staff, and I apologize if you answered this during your presentation, but are there any current CTE programs in the public schools within your service area?
Yes, there are. So we have here in Santa Clara County, we have the Silicon Valley Career Tech Ed. Silicon Valley Career Tech Ed is open to public school students throughout the Santa Clara County. Their biggest school district is Eastside Union High School District, that composes of 7 or 8 various high schools that are locally, that are geographically close to SVCTE, but they just expanded their reach to Mountain View and Palo Alto. So now we'll have students coming from North County, MVLA, that's Mountain View Los Altos High School District, and then also Palo Alto Unified School District coming to take classes at SVCTE as well. So, and then various high schools here in Santa Clara County offer magnet programs. So you might go to, for example, Yerba Buena High School to learn about mechanical engineering, where you would go to Andrew Hill High School to be in an IB or a baccalaureate program. So they have these magnet programs that students here in Santa Clara County can also take part in for additional CTE education.
Do you have a rough idea as to how many CTE teachers are actually in the classroom offering a Water Career Pathways classes? Do you have a rough idea? Because we don't have anybody, as far as I know, in LA or Orange County. So it'd be nice to hear if you have a rough number as to how many are actually teaching in the classroom.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Not that I am aware of. What we've done at Valley Water, what Robert and myself and Ingrid have done, is look to see what SVCTE is already currently offering to their students, and then how can we put the water stamp on that career. So if a student is taking electrical engineering, then we can say, hey, there are careers in the water industry also. So it's not exactly a water specific major, but it touches on careers in the water industry. So that's how our workaround right now is, because we have not identified someone who can come in and teach the water curriculum that we have at that level.
John.
Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, Mera, Ingrid, great presentation, exciting work. I just want to talk about a couple things. One, Ingrid, you mentioned mechatronics as a water pathway, and I agree. We started in a mechatronics apprenticeship here in Orange County 3 years ago. SCC, who has a wonderful water operators, distribution and waste water program. To mention just two, they have several programs at that college. I think about 350 students there, with the opportunity for those students to join the apprenticeship program, which is registered with the DAS. And what I'd like to mention about that is that when you're talking about those other areas, that's exactly what we do in Orange County is we build programs from our existing courses aligned with the employer. So whether that's water or any other industry, we can put a program together. An apprenticeship isn't as difficult as it seems if you have an intermediary that does the registrations, that does the reporting, that does all of that work to take the burden off of the college and take the burden off the employer. So then the employer has to do is focus on the on-the-job training and have a mentor for either an apprentice or a group of apprentices. Once you do those, once you put that infrastructure together in the region, then apprenticeship becomes much easier. And I just like to encourage all the water districts on this call to think about that, because we can offer these programs in every area of water. Anything is apprenticeable. It's not just the skilled trades. It can also be non-traditional apprenticeship. So we have a wonderful program at Saddleback College, for instance, that is water conservation and resource management. It's a certificate program that could easily be a one-year apprenticeship. We could add some biology and some chemistry courses to that and really make it something special for the water industry. So just keep that in mind as we're moving forward here, because I'm really excited about the prospects to have a consortia of water districts in Orange County and LA for that matter, to build out a specific program based on specific jobs.
That's great. I would be remiss then in saying that for our apprenticeship program, we partnered with Baywork, and they partner with JVS, which is another nonprofit kind of career outreach organization. And so they have been really instrumental in being, like you said, that intermediary between between Valley Water and Mission College, and really putting that kind of foundation behind it. So it definitely takes a village.
Yeah, it does. And actually on the call today is Miriam Farnbauer. That's DIAG USA, and that's our intermediary here in Orange County.
Marina.
Hi, thanks, folks. Yeah, quick question. So I think this is really great. You have LA County and Orange County pretty much covered. My question to you is, what about what efforts are you aware of any of similar programs taking place in the San Joaquin Valley, where we have a lot of failing water systems, large disadvantaged communities? And so I'm just kind of curious to see what if you know of any efforts that are going on. And two, is this something, a program like yours, could it be transferable to a rural setting such as the San Joaquin Valley?
Yeah, Marina, that's an excellent question. And I kind of have to correct you. LA and Orange County are still a work in progress. We have a lot of great work that's being done, again, kind of in silos or that isn't connected. And I think that's why this presentation from Valley Water is so critical to all of us, because this seems like a huge lift no matter where you are, right? And we're looking at LA and Orange County. These are highly populated areas. So if we're working in silos, how are we expected to cover, everybody, whether you're a small water district or a small community college? We just added an adult school to one of our LA collaboratives. If we start thinking about what has been done at Valley Water and not getting overwhelmed, but thinking, how can we do this maybe as a region, right? Because Valley Water also is part of Baywork, who provides a lot of support and training programs. There's a lot of resources there. So for those of us who live, in these areas that just need to get a little more focused and a little more organized, maybe don't think so much as me as my agency, me as my community college, me as my ROP, but us as our region, and how we can we can really tackle this together. So I did have to clarify that, but I do believe that Mera probably has more, Mera and Ingrid probably have more information about Central Valley.
Actually, I was going to say that this is a great opportunity to discover what is happening in the Central Valley and begin that connection and that conversation. I'm not aware of anything, but I'd be happy to start that conversation and just, thinking about that. And to answer the second part of your question, I believe yes, all agencies are able to do something. It may not be as comprehensive as what we've been able to do at Valley Water. And I think at Valley Water is because the perfect timing. We had the board member whose vision it was from the 90s. We have a CEO who was very adamant about, diversity, equity, inclusion in terms of hiring practices. We have the new deputy from Human Resources who was at LA Metro, who started a career pathways program, able to bring that expertise. We have Ingrid, who is a water industry, who's worked, 20 plus years in the water industry and in Bay work. And then you have myself, who's a high school educator who just kind of comes in with, hey, let's bring some opportunities to high school students. So I think in that it's the perfect, combination. But yes, I feel like every industry and every agency can do something. Maybe you start with one intern. Maybe you start with helping at college and career fairs and sending, subject matter experts that look like the demographic that you want to start hiring for your agency. Maybe you put together a brief PowerPoint presentation about the 8 critical mission jobs and what those look like and have colorful pictures of people doing those jobs just to, enhance that visibility of career awareness. So I think that, again, we are in the perfect, the perfect collaboration, but everyone can do something. And that's how the mission can advance.
I appreciate your response, Mera. Yeah, the challenge with the Central Valley is that they're small communities. Some folks who are in the industry are well qualified. They get certified as operators, and then guess what? They don't stay in their community. They move on to higher paying jobs. So we have a twofold problem. Not enough training for folks to in general, and then having them stay within their water system, within their community. They venture off. But I do appreciate that your response. And my question was mainly just how can we transfer this program or a version of it to address some of the Central Valley issues. Now, I'm originally from Southern California. I know the dynamics down there. I'm fully versed on it. I appreciate everything that's going on. I live now in Sacramento, and this is a whole different world. So of course, it would be some tailoring for the specifics and whatnot of our needs. But I just want to entertain that thought. And I see Grecia shows some interest in having a conversation. I'll follow up with you, Grecia. So yeah, this is just something that I love this opportunity to hear and to collaborate with some folks in the coming months. So thank you again.
If I could add just one more thing, I know
Yes.
Bay Work in the past had tried to expand, and we have grown a lot since when I was the chair, and now I think we have over 40 organizations that are part of our consortium. But we did go out to the Modesto area and try to do outreach there. I think, and Cheryl Davis could be an example of this. She's taken the model of Bay Work, and we have offered that as a resource for other regions. We've looked at, I think you might even already be working with them, Cheryl, in the New England area, but we've looked at it in the, we've worked with people in the Southern California area. But it takes a lot, right? I look at Tiffany and how she's managing WEEA, there's lots of organization and stuff. So you almost need a couple of organizations that really understand and are committed to what the value is of bringing in a consortium and then pulling that together, and it can grow. We have the model, we have a website. If you go to baywork.org, you can see, all the things that we have done. You can replicate that. We're very much an open platform and always have been. But I think if you want to try to see something of this replicated in the Central Valley, we would love to support, but we need the organizations there to actually do it, because what we found was it's almost too much for us to manage the San Francisco Bay Area and then also go into the Central Valley. You almost need to be the full-time person. And all of us we have other real jobs that we do in addition to the efforts that we have with these associations. So I think there's definitely hope. And if you guys are interested, we could definitely put you in touch with Robert, our president of Bay Work, and the other agencies, and invite you to any of our meetings and provide any support for you to establish something similar.
Thank you.
And-
Phenomenal work again. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
one other real quick comment, if you're looking in the Central Valley, there are a couple of things going on there. Folsom Lake College does have a full program now. Columbia College, which is in the foothills, does have a program. I've worked with Taft in the past, which is basically Bakersfield area, and they probably have a big enough population there. The problem for community colleges is you have to have enough population in the area to support a program, and the travel distances in the Bay in the Central Valley are so long that now with more colleges offering either high flex or online, that may help solve some of these distance problems. But and then the other potential one is Reedley College in Fresno, which already has an Institute for Water that's in conjunction with Fresno State. So I think there are some opportunities there, but it's going to take a lot of work.
It is. And can I also add that these meetings are held quarterly? So invite the Central Valley folks. We will create a breakout room so we can have a larger discussion like this, and then we can address individual regional needs in the regional breakout rooms. It's a place to start. And then you have this really great community that's willing to share resources. And quickly before I get to John, I just have to throw this out there. So this is so well, your program series of programs are so well structured. Do you have a strategic plan or something that you can offer as a roadmap for some of us who are trying to get there?
It's not necessarily our strategic plan, but it is our fiscal year work plan that we take a look at each of those 4 initiatives and put, some measurable, smart action items that are accomplishable within that fiscal year time, and really taking a look at those 4 different initiatives, there are 4 different functions, and what is the big win for each of those programs. And so that's how we have put together our work plan. And quarterly, we go through and we check it off. Are we meeting our metrics? Are we meeting the marks? And then how are we able to communicate that with executive leadership, communicate that with our board members so that they can see that our program is aligned to the mission and the vision and the goals set forth by the agency for this program.
And then Cheryl had done a chat and asked about any documentation that we have for the program, how we've implemented. And Mera's team is working on an external web page that we would be able to share with everybody to have these types of resources. We do know that knowledge sharing is so important, and we don't want people to have to recreate the wheel.
And Valley
As
Water,
I like to say, I like to do R&D, rip off and duplicate if I can.
Here, here. Valley Water, hats off to you. This is a model. And what you're sharing with others by coming even to this group is that something like this does exist and it can happen, and it, it's not a pipe dream. So thank you for this model. One last question, John.
Yeah, I just want to tack on to what Marina and Don were just talking about. Bakersfield College does have a very good program in industrial automation. It's part of it is mechatronics, automation, and robotics. It's a bachelor's degree program, but they also have the certificate level and the associate's degree level. So Marina, check that out. It does align very well with water technicians because I'm very familiar with the courses they teach there. But also what you were talking about, Don, the economies of scale come into play for sure. When you're talking about trying to build a program from scratch, you can't do it with 2 hires. You got to have at least 20 students to get a program off the ground. And so in order to build a cohort like that, you have to join forces with other water agencies. And I took a transatlantic tour last year to Germany to check out their apprenticeship system and why is it so successful and how does it work? Well, one of the things that they do, that they have a national chamber of commerce that every employer has to be part of. And every year they have to report how many apprentices they're going to hire. And by doing that, they're able to size their program appropriately so that there's an economy of scale there. So there's efficiencies there. So they're not too short and they're not too heavy with the numbers of students they have in that program. So start thinking about the ways that you can work together with other agencies to put together a program that may already exist right where you're at. Thanks.
Great point. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. All right, we're just 3 minutes over our break time. So we are going to take a break now. Please, I know Ingrid has to go. Thank you so much for participating today. You really just have shared so much knowledge and given us a lot of inspiration and something to strive for. Mera is going to stick around and help us with one of our breakout rooms, but if we can please just give a lot of love to Valley Water for sharing with us today. I'm going to throw up a break slide, not throw up, but put up a break slide, and we'll come back, get a chance to stretch, get that coffee, whatever it is that you need, and we'll be back here. Let's come back at 11. Let's get on then to our regional discussion. We've put a QR code here. You are welcome to go into the QR code, go into the link, type your own notes, but we do have a note taker for each of the regional breakout rooms. Also, just a reminder to everybody left, anybody who registered for this meeting is going to receive all of the materials. You're going to receive the recording, you're going to receive the chat, the presentation, any handouts that were offered, all of that is coming your way. I'll put together a follow-up email and send that out hopefully this afternoon. So you should have all of that this afternoon. Our regional breakout discussion, when listening to some of Mera's previous presentations, and she's just such a great presenter, she reminds me to slow down a little bit because I get very excited and I also talk very quickly. She has a lot of great content, very strategic. One of the things that she mentioned doing for this series of programs is to create an opportunity statement. And I think when we're looking strategically at how we can address some of our problems and some of our issues, some of the recommendations that we've had from reports, is to be very intentional about that. And so I thought for this breakout session, we could work together to create an opportunity statement about increasing awareness. And there are several components to doing that. If you don't get to the final statement, that's totally fine, but we want to walk through the process of getting there. So there will be a discussion about what the current situation is surrounding awareness, what the problem or impact of that is, whether students know or don't know, what our best practices are, and then what our desired outcome should be, or what we're looking for it to be. What do we hope to see? And are we willing to contribute to that solution? Because really, it's not someone else's job. It's going to be all of our jobs to contribute in some way. And that's another thing that makes WEEA very unique. We have a lot of perspectives from hiring managers, general managers, board directors, to public affairs people, human resources, and colleges, professors, deans. We've got it all. So everybody can do a little bit to create a big impact. So that's kind of what we're getting to here. We're going to go ahead and break out now, and we're going to come back at 11:45 for really quick summaries, and then we'll close at 12.
Well, the most fun part of that, Bill and Megan, is that what's so exciting to me now is that years and years and years ago, when I started doing this work, there was nobody else doing it. And so, you were the only, and so there was nobody to network with, there was nobody to collaborate with, there was no, so you were basically slogging all alone. And basically what was happening was everybody was riding your coattails, and it got real tiresome dragging everybody along. So now it's really exciting to see. That's the most exciting to me thing about WEEA is seeing this collaboration. This is kind of a dream come true for me.
Yeah,
well, I would agree.
You're a gem.
Yeah, and I agree too. Speaking from someone who, looks and says, oh, gee, we have to do this. Let's start at the beginning, and not having to do that because we have people not just in your region, But the work that, you know, I can call out Inland Empire, I can call out San Diego because, and Bay work. I mean, there's some incredibly exciting things happening in these regions that we can showcase and we can learn from and we can use to advance work across the state. This doesn't have to be, you know, just a celebration of one region. We can grow together. And this has been an exciting journey for me too. So, and you've been a big part of that, Dawn, as will have you, Bill.
Well, I see Kathy Schultz has joined us. We got to give her a big applause for her advancement.
Yay.
Awesome, Kath. Congratulations.
Okay, can everybody see the screen? I'm going to actually stop sharing right now because we're going to go ahead and do our summaries of what we learned from each of the breakout rooms. And again, if you didn't get to your opportunity statement, that's fine. The most important thing is we're having the discussion to get us there and getting more focused and more organized each one of these discussions. So who would like to start giving us just an overview?
I can.
Great.
Okay. We had a relatively small group. There's still, even after all these years, what, 3.5 years or something, we've been doing this. We still have some disconnects across where the challenges are intra-agency or intra-discipline.
Yeah.
And so I would mark that up as a continuity program, even intra-organizational, where I understood, just listening to some of the agency issues, they have similar programs across 2 or 3 different departments that are not necessarily at cross purposes, but I don't know how well they're always aligned. So there's a continuity between agencies, interagency, and then between the different constituents in the workforce development pathway. So that was an observation. And I don't have a solution to that, but I think that there's still some more work that needs to be done, and we just have to mature. And another epiphany that I had during this discussion and all these years is this particular industry, though, is at the vanguard of trying to do something about their workforce challenge. I noticed that other industries in Los Angeles, Southern California, that used to be huge are now gone, simply because 1, the technology's changed, and 2, and aerospace was the one that came to mind. As technologies have been upgraded, we didn't have the bandwidth or didn't recognize those changes in a timely manner and be able to respond to those so that we could keep that workforce that was already here, from engineering down to technicians, down to salespeople, and so they got moved. They moved someplace else. And I don't know how many we were the manufacturing center of the United States for 100 years. And now, we're a service business. So, and then the other thought, of course, my 3 minutes is almost up, but the other thought was the fact that utilities are not as agile as maybe some other industries are, and they have infrastructure and other things. So they're part of the community. And so I think that it's right that they could be at the vanguard of trying to find change. But that was did I miss anything? Sarah, any points that you got that we captured that I didn't get on? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to take this opportunity also, Bruce, to address the challenge about getting organized and give a big shout out to our sponsor, Water Replenishment District. They have organized an ad hoc committee that has come along a long way. And they've done that because they've invited Bruce, who is the regional director for LA Community Colleges. They've invited Walter, who's with Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, who's also one of our sponsors, and many others. The LA Trade Tech. You guys are having those discussions, and I encourage you to take back what you've learned just from this breakout and the new people in the room to that ad hoc committee to help further those discussions. But you're doing great work.
It's a real education just attending those meetings. The one thing to note also, I don't know if anyone turns out that the replenishment district and LADWP actually share part of our service area in the southern part of like the city part and into the South Bay. So we have overlapping sort of district areas. But even without that, I would attend the meeting. They're really, I mean, I had to skip one, unfortunately, but it was like a learning session, just attending those. It was very helpful. So thanks to Jen for organizing those, who's also one of the members of our CEF board, as is Mera Burton. And Bill's been the ex officio, and founder of CEF as well, and he doesn't like to say it, but he was also the past president, like I was, at least once, or if not twice. So he's been involved, for like 25 years, kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, shout out to LA. You guys are getting organized. It shows in those meetings. And I think that some of the challenges that you're seeing in this work group are just because maybe they're not part of that conversation, or that some of the issues then just need to be brought up to have just a more focused conversation in your breakouts. But you guys are doing amazing work. Yeah, Bruce.
Just a quick observation again is that the Jen has been able to recruit the faculty who are the practitioners, and almost all the programs have a representative faculty or there who are as much learning as they are sharing. Yes. But I think that there's some changes going, so that might be a stick a pin in it type of thing that makes sure we've got buy-in from the faculty, because the rest of us are spinning our tires if we don't have faculty involved.
Great point. Thank you, Bruce. Who's next?
I can go next, Tiffany. This is Mera Burton representing our Central and Northern California working group and talking groups today. So I just want to thank Nate for being our IT professional. I'm going to call him Data today because I watch a lot of Star Trek. So Nate, thanks for being our Data. But today we talked about, I love that. So some of the challenges that we're facing here in the Northern California and Central California is a lack of resources. We have communities that have various socioeconomic stabilities. Some communities have more resources. Some utilities have more resources to allow and give flexibility, while other communities don't. And so one of the thought would be to, make those resources visible and available to communities that lack those resources. So that was one of the challenges that we had. Another challenge that we're facing is we do have students that are moving into higher education, whether it be community colleges or four-year universities, but they're lacking the math and science skills and academic languages to take advantage of those more advanced math and science classes, and that there seems to be a lack of that interdisciplinary knowledge and implementation between math and science and real world application for students. And there's also a lack of visibility that these jobs in the water industry and the energy industry, there's just not a clear pathway to those jobs. There's also the challenge of agriculture versus environment that people are facing as well too. So how do we bring those two entities into the conversation so that they can begin speaking that same language? And really, I think what we kind of a theme was the lack of academic language, whether it be water language, math language, science language, and then how is acquisition happening for people that speak other languages, right? Whether they're ESL backgrounds or English language deficient. Can you guys still hear me? Hopefully
yes.
You can. Okay, great. I'm going to turn my camera off because I'm having some IT challenges here, but as long as you can hear my voice, that's wonderful. So how are we making academic language more accessible to our students from an early age? So those were our challenges. The way that they're affecting is, again, the lack of opportunity, lack of awareness, and lack of a clear pathway. And so we came up with our opportunity statement here. It's actually going to be an opportunity action because we're very action oriented here in Northern California. So we have an opportunity to enhance visibility and increase career awareness. In our group, we discussed collaborating on a video compilation channel that would have the career videos from various agencies in energy and water and other utilities, all stored and housed in one area that it would be easily accessible. Our friend Kathy Schultz, who doesn't have enough to do already, said that she might be interested in helping this compilation, being aware that she is looking to backfill her position, so that there can be some more conversations that we would have around this. But what we would need to do for our individual agencies as an action is find those videos, whether they be on YouTube, where are they housed for your agency, begin your own catalog and library, so that way when Kathy is ready for us to send them all to her, it will be an easy package. We're also looking for videos and information that come in various languages. We also are looking for videos that have a cultural connection to the peoples and the lands and the communities that we want to support. So that is the action that came out of our NorCal and Central California working group. We want to start our own video channel.
I love it. Thank you, Mera, and thank you, NorCal and Central Valley. Great collaboration. Who's next?
I can go for the Inland Empire.
Thank
So
you.
we had some similar conversations to the other groups, but a couple of things that we talked about, I think that I wanted to mention, was that we talked about introducing all of the careers and really positioning water as a stable career, especially when you're talking about helping to support your IT folks or some of your public relations, where students definitely don't think about those careers when they're going to school for some of that. One of our folks shared a great idea of what they do with like a speed networking when students come to do tours, where they get to meet folks from all the different departments and then they do the tour. So that way they're not just placed into a department that might not be where their interest is, but it's helping all of the students learn about the different careers. So we really liked that. We also talked quite a bit about how to engage with the teachers so that they're aware of the careers, so that as we saw in the earlier presentation, you don't have to wait and start a whole entire pipeline and career pathway program. You can build in pieces of water into the other pathway programs that still feed into the industry. So we had some really good conversations, lots of promising practices sharing that went on in our group. So thank you.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Who is next?
I think I can do a 30 seconds just because we are so short on time here. So our San Diego LA group, we talked very similar action item to what Mera just mentioned. And if we needed some more videos, Don is going to start a TikTok channel where he just kidding, Don.
Oh, I'm like, wow.
But we're
just when I thought I knew everything about Dawn.
Don't reinvent the wheel, but compile the things that we do, the good messages that we have, these vignettes of stories that are so impactful. But the problem being, how do we get those into the hands of the right people, which are the students? We kind of focused down on the students and then went to big picture, seeing that a third of students don't go to a third of graduating students don't go on to a four-year college. How do we target those students? Counselors and teachers being very influential beyond the parents to get these materials into the hands of those people to then disseminate to our students. So I'll stop there because I said 30 seconds.
That's great. That's a great summary. Thank you for that. John, I think you're our last one.
Yeah, so real quick, we focused initially on awareness and bringing more water jobs awareness down into middle schools to get students on a pathway that can lead to water. And we had some discussion around a water CTE teacher. Nick Dibbs was in our meeting, and there isn't a water teacher in LA or OC right now that he's aware of, and I'm not aware of either. But then we had a little more in-depth conversation about, well, what does that really look like? And can it not be tied into pathways that are engineering related, electrical and mechanical engineering? Wouldn't those students still be great candidates for water operators and technicians? And I would say yes. And so maybe we need to focus a little bit more in the early times with students who have parents who are saying you need to be an engineer, yeah, you can be an engineer and you can be in water too. So maybe there's more focus that needs to happen around that area, and not so much just energy, environment, and utilities with a water focus, but just a general get those kids learning what the skills they're going to need later on when they go into college and maybe become an apprentice or an intern for a water agency. And then also throw in some of those other areas, you know, the biology, the chemistry, the water conservation, the water resource management, those type of courses along the way. And if we can identify those courses and find them in our region, we can probably build a program ad hoc and be very valuable.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Go ahead. Do you have something else, John?
No, you took all the notes, so I don't have them in front of me. So I was just wondering, I must have missed something.
No problem. And the good news is that the notes are available for everybody, so we can get refocused. I'm not sure if I'm in presentation mode or if you can see my screen, but the gist is that's a wrap. Great work today, everybody. It's a 3-hour meeting, but truly it goes by so quickly. I appreciate each one of you for showing up, and those who could stay to the end, awesome. Also wanted to give a shout out to the folks who facilitated our breakout rooms, which is John, Bruce, Marianne, Megan, and Mera Burton, because you know, when we facilitate those meetings, someone else takes notes. It really helps keep us focused and energized. So thank you so much for that. Always want to give a shout out to our sponsors: Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, Eastern Municipal Water District, Tomorrow's Talent, Water Replenishment District, Western Municipal Water, and then of course our in-kind sponsors, California Environmental Education Foundation, or CEF, and California Community Colleges. Our next Leadership Roundtable meeting, we have our presenter secured. It will be April 16th, so mark your calendars. And for those who are left in the room, you came up with some wonderful observations in the chat, and our NorCal people even came up with some action items. So we invite you next time to come to the meeting on April 16th and tell us how you've made progress there. That's all we have. Thank you again so much for attending, and we hope to see you again on April 16th.